All right, I guess it's time we talk about episode 46 of Kamen Rider Geats. We are in the final stretch. But there's like 3 episodes left after this, I believe, and next week there is no episode. Um I got to say it was an episode. When Geats is good, it's good. Okay? Like don't get me wrong, like I like the season. I do. I'm enjoying the season. Does it have its faults? Definitely. But am I still enjoying it and watching every week? You're damn right I am. And this is what, like the second time or so now that they've like built up the fact that like Michinaga is gonna die. I mean, hell, the episode is called Farewell Michi, and honestly, after watching this episode, I was like, you know what? I get it. It was Baroba saying it, and because he's not dying, and I'm gonna get to that. Okay. Um, so we had our old like trio of Sumri, Kawa, and Ace combining and resetting the world with a super wish, and Sumri's back to normal. She's back at the lounge area. Win's there taking care of her. Win is back to normal after that very vicious baton smash to the face. Uh, and, everything basically has been reverted back to where it was before Kayla's wish. And Kayla and Ace have disappeared, and they are actually in the old Goddess of Creation chamber. And I'm just like, all right, cool. We reverted the wish back before Kayla got his, but all those innocent people that Kayla brought back, gone, dead. Seems kind of like a selfish wish, you know? Just saying. So Ace is getting chained up at the barbed wire, and I'm like, well, that's very reminiscent of our OP video, because I was wondering if that was ever going to play into the show at all. And he even says, he's basically becoming the god of creation. And I'm like, all right. Uh things. You know, I like the addition of these new VIPs for Jito, because they're not happy. They're saying this is false advertising, because the world has been reverted, and you know Kekker's even being like, what are we gonna do now? They not only has the world been reverted, they lost Sumeri, their goddess of creation, and apparently Jito can make new ones, because that tear that he snatched up is the crystallization of the goddess of creation's power, and he just taps it on the vision driver. Next, we now have Goth Sumeri, and she's now the goddess of destruction. And I was like, she looks nothing like Lord Beerus, honestly. I'm just saying. And I was like, so this whole entire time, you're going to wait until 46 episodes in to be like, hey, we have this goddess of creation, but at the same time, we could have a goddess of destruction. And I'm like, and Jito, like, goes on the side of a building, revealing to the world that, hey, they're from the future, basically that this is the bad end game. And I'm like, how many games have there been in the last like 10 episodes? We had the Parasite games, which technically didn't have a real end to it. We had the Apocalypse games, which seemed nothing like the Apocalypse, honestly, and that just was. And now we have the bad end game, and I'm like, why call it a game? There is no games. There is no DGP. There is no game, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, I just like there hasn't like I liked the DGP. I liked the game element of it. That's why I say the first 16 episodes of this show were like great. I had no issues at all with those first 16 episodes. I still don't have like little issues here and there, but like the show's still good. But man, those first 16 episodes, they hit deliciously. And continuing one of the things I don't like, which is Daichi getting a redemption arc, he got his tree of knowledge back, as well as the memories. And Baroba and Kekra show up, and they need his tree to help destroy the world. And they actually start attacking him, and they henching into their premium forms. And the whole time I'm like, well, is Daichi going to turn in Jamato mode and fight back? And no, he doesn't. And they even explain the bad end game, because VIPs now could directly participate in it to help destroy the world. And I'm like, okay, interesting how there has been no real rules for a while now. So I'm like, they've been interfering and attacking people for quite some time. I mean, they beat up Nan's dad. Kekra's fought Geats. Like, they've basically been interjecting for quite some time when you think about it, especially all the way back to when Baroba turned into her big CG form and literally destroyed the game area. So I'm like, they've kind of been interfering and being a participating to various extents this whole entire time. Um, I was really hopeful that they were going to kill Daichi before he can get a full redemption arc because I don't want him to get a redemption arc. Honestly, I really don't. But Buffa and Nago make the save, and I was like, all right, it makes sense. But the only cool thing about this, because it wasn't a full fledged fight, is we got this cool scene where Buffa did the poison charge tactical break, and as he shot the little beam thing, Nago phased out, so it went through her to like hit them and push them back so they could escape. And I thought that was actually really cool visually to see. That made me happy. Um, so this whole tree thing, this whole tree of knowledge, like the thing hasn't been fully explained, anyways. Other than Daichi can eat the tomatoes off of it and get memories and knowledge from whoever's been, absorbed into the tree. Other than that, nothing really about this tree has ever been explained. And I'm just like, it's just a tree with faces on it, honestly, to me. And so our goth Sumeri shows up, and she wants to know what their goal is, their wish, and Baroba wants to summon basically a special colossal Jamato to destroy the world, and that's her wish. So this dark Sumeri needs that gleam, which we haven't heard about gleam in quite some time, but she needs that gleam. She's like, yo, Baroba, I need your gleam real quick, just a little bit of the gleam. We make this wish happen. And I was like, all right, sure. I was like, Jamato's really, I feel like Jamatos aren't even really that big of a threat. I mean, really, they haven't been in so long. Uh, so Daichi's agrees because he's wondering why they saved him as there's an ambulance going by. He agrees, hey, we could save Sarah, but you got to give me my tree back. And I was like, whatever. The Daichi part in this whole entire thing really was to set up plant the seed that Michinaga could die. He's gonna die, you know. Uh, Daichi even says, it's suicide to go up against Premium Baroba and them. You can't, and you know, Michinaga's like, I gotta go handle this. Nan wants to go, and he's like, no, you gotta watch Daichi. He's slimy, and he's gonna go because this is between him and Keiwa. And Daichi once again, after he walks away, hints he's like, he looks like someone who's ready to die, and I'm like, and they even gave us from a film episode standpoint all the hints, all the breadcrumbs were there. Michinaga's walking through the forest to get to the tree. We're getting flashbacks of the whole conflict of everything with Keiwa, from him killing Sarah to the fight with Keiwa to how angry Keiwa was when he was talking to him. And I was like, yeah, where we're getting all the seeds planted, even though it's complete misdirection. And I like it, honestly. I really do. I'm a big Buffa fan. So this whole time, Ace has explained to Keiwa what's really going on. He's saying everyone's trying to save Sarah, and Michinaga needs the help. And he's actually ready to put his life on the line to save Sarah, even sacrificing his own happiness. And we get the line of the episode, which is a good line, where Ace tells Keiwa, even if we hate the sins people commit, we must never come to hate people themselves. And I was like, that's a very good line, except for the fact that Michinaga literally hated everybody. Like, not just the sin, he hated everyone. He wanted to destroy all the riders at one point. So it'd be like, hey, look, there's some character growth. And, you know, I think I called it when I was talking about how we were going to get like the supporters versus supportees. I was like, watch, it's good. In the end, it's going to end up being like, Keiwa, Kakura, Baroba, and Michinaga. And then we were going to get like Ace and Jito, and possibly, from what I was thinking at the time, was like Neon versus Daichi or Japan. But Japan was just useless. He was there for one episode. He's gone. He's done with the show. So I'm like, what was the point of bringing him back other than to shoot Neon's mom in the arm, you know? Um, so now I'm just like, well, Nan, if it's not Daichi, I was like, I don't know. Now I'm like, are we gonna get Sumri versus Goth Sumri in a fight? Like, I have no idea what Nan's gonna do, because all of her stuff kind of like her chapter of her wanting to feel love and this and that, her kind of wish and desires have kind of been resolved. So now it's the overall where she wants to support. She wants everyone to be happy now. So I don't think we're gonna need Nan in a one-on-one type situation, because we are getting it. Buffa versus Baroba. And I was like, yes. Um, One thing that confused me at first, but now I think on my second watch, because I watched it a second time. Uh, One thing that got to me, like on my second watch of this episode, was why Baroba chose her big CGI form over the premium Baroba. And even Kekra says she's taking it seriously. And I think it's because when Baroba's in her big form, she basically destroyed a whole game area with that like impact attack. So even though I think the premium forms are sleeker, this and that, also for like I think this is why she picked that form is just brute strength to just overpower Buffa because he's no pun intended hot-headed as like a and like he is not really methodical with his fighting, so she could just fight his brute strength with even more strength. But the fight was good. Oddly enough, all the CG heaviness of it didn't bother me at all. And we got this great scene. I think the interaction between the two, like as much as I've been saying, the supporters have kind of, in my opinion, from a screen time standpoint, have been overstaying their welcome. I did find this very satisfying of a fight, especially Baroba talking with Michinaga, saying she figured out his ultimate despair, and it would be dying a pointless death without ever fulfilling his ambitions. Since he always desired power, a lonesome death while despairing at your own weakness suits him best. And I was like, yeah. And right before we get to the final part of the fight, we got hit with that good music, that good OST, that good track hit. And I was like, and then we got a Baroba with a attack versus a nice rider kick from Buffa. And um, he had, and I assume because of the reverting of the wish, um, Baroba, but like even Baroba pointed out, like Buffa had his fever buckle OP, like super strong destroy rider power. I don't know if it's because they reverted Keiwa's wish or how that worked, but he obviously had that and he destroyed her. And I was just like, okay. One thing about this, I love the fight, I love the back and forth and everything else. My only thing is if Baroba's fully done after this and not appearing back in any episodes, 2 episodes we got hinted at Baroba's true form when she was looking in that broken mirror, and even Buffa made comments. And now she's gone. We didn't get the true form at all. I really wanted to see what that true form was going to turn out to be. Like I really did, and because Baroba's destroyed, her wish is now null, so her gleam is gone, and yada yada yada. And even Kakura's now like getting ready to join in and get henshin and finish off Buffa, but Keiwa stops him, and we got a nice moment of resolve between the conflict between the two as Buffa apologizes to Keiwa. Keiwa apologizes back. And, even Keiwa says, he's sorry he didn't believe in all of them. And obviously Kakura is not happy at all with any of this. And Keiwa finally stands up for himself and realizes that Kakura has been pulling the strings and manipulating him. And we know this is going to be the next showdown for sure. But not now, because Kakura says he has a special bad end just for Keiwa and walks away. And obviously Daichi keeps up. And I don't want to do play-by-plays, but it is for context reasons. So Daichi has some special liquid, pours and gives it to Keiwa. Keiwa pours out a tree, and Sarah is released from the tree. So Sarah's back, and everyone's happy. But are we just gonna say screw you to all the other innocent people that are part of that tree? Like I said, most of the stuff lately has been like very one-sided. Like it's singular, not thinking about everybody. They're like, okay, we got Sarah. All these other people in the tree. Nah, Daichi, keep eating your fruit. You can have your memories and knowledge. And Ace hasn't really been in the episode, obviously, because this is about Michinaga and bringing Sarah back. But at the end, we see Ace is starting to turn to stone, starting with his hands. So he is basically becoming a goddess of creation, or god of creation statue. And I was like, oh, interesting. That's cool, I guess. But yeah, this was a good episode. Even though, like I said, some stuff should have happened sooner on, I think from a timing standpoint with how many episodes are left, this was a good Michinaga episode to kind of close the door with him and Baroba and everything else and his character growth. I think that was a great episode. I'm a big Buffa fan, so yeah. So we got Neon with her her resolutions. Now Buffa. All that's left is Keiwa and Ace. And obviously we're going to save Ace for the last episode because I'm 99% sure in the next episode, which is not this week coming up because there is no episode the following week, I'm sure in 47, that's when we're gonna get Kakura and Kawa to finally showdown. I saw it in the preview, and I saw Kawa with the ninja buckle, so I'm gonna have some buckle inventory rants probably. But that's it for the episode. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And also, if you see this nice neon shirt, it is still on sale at onlyhenshins.com. I also have some kaiju shirts and this and that. I am dropping wave 2 of the merch early August, not next week though. Early August, I'm just finalizing and waiting for some samples to come in. I got some Buffa stuff, Kamen Rider build, some other funny t-shirts, all toku related. So if you haven't already, go to onlyhenshins.com and check those out. That being said, that's it for the video. I will see you guys in the next one.